Now, there is something rather strange. You wake up one morning and something has shifted, not outside, but inside you. You look through the games, the rat race, the endless pursuit of more, more, more. Perhaps for the first time you understand that the meaning of life is simply to be alive. It is so obvious, so plain and simple that it is unexpected. Yet everyone is frantically running back and forth as if they must achieve something beyond themselves. And then the strange problem arises. Bills still arrive regularly, rent still has to be paid, the bank account still depletes, and you find yourself in a truly peculiar situation, spiritually awakened but financially broke. A joke of the universe, truly. You look around and see people fast asleep, completely unconscious, chasing money like hungry ghosts. And they seem very fine. Full bank accounts, big houses, new cars. While you who have seen through the illusion cannot even pay the electricity bill. What is happening? Let me tell you this. This is not an accident, not some mistake in the universe's arrangement. This is exactly what must happen at least for a period of time. And if you understand why, you will stop resisting it, and you will start seeing the extraordinary gift hidden inside this struggle. You see, money is a very strange thing. It is not wealth. It is just a way of measuring wealth, a symbol, a sign, a form of social agreement. True wealth is the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food nourishing your body, the roof keeping you warm. Money is just bookkeeping. But we have been so mesmerized by the bookkeeping that we forgot what it was meant to represent. Think about it. There is a man with $1 million in the bank. He sits in an office worrying about the stock market, checking accounts, calculating net worth. He forgets the taste of the coffee he is drinking, forgets the feeling of the sun touching his skin, forgets even that he is breathing. So, is this man rich? Or is he so busy counting pieces of paper that he loses the real treasure? When you awaken spiritually, an interesting thing happens. You are no longer hypnotized by symbols. You no longer confuse the menu with the meal. The recipe is not the dinner. The map is not the real land. And suddenly money no longer holds control over you. It ceases to be the most important thing, ceases to be the goal of your life. This is great. It is freedom. But it creates a practical problem because the world around you has not awakened. The landlord still wants to be paid rent in real money, not in enlightenment. The shopkeeper will not accept spiritual wisdom in exchange for a loaf of bread. And so you find yourself stuck between two worlds, awake in a sleeping world, trying to live by one value system while surrounded by another. Now let me tell you why this happens to almost everyone who starts to awaken. The first reason is very simple. When you awaken, you lose the motivation to play the game. You see that most people go to work not because they love the job, but because they are afraid. Afraid of poverty, afraid of being judged, afraid of being left behind in this giant race. Fear is the fuel operating the economic machine. But when you awaken, fear starts to dissolve. You realize that you came into this world empty-handed and will also leave empty-handed. You understand that the purpose of life is not to arrive at death in a safe condition with a preserved bank account, but to slide sideways across the finish line, thoroughly used up, totally worn out by experience, and laughing loudly all the way. The terror of poverty no longer has claws. And when there is no longer that fear driving you, you naturally slow down. You stop clawing to climb to the top. You stop sacrificing the present in exchange for a safe future that only exists in imagination. This is beautiful. This is healthy. But in a world organized based on fear and competition, it means you will earn less money, at least for a while. The second reason is when awakening your old passions start falling away. Think about it. Before awakening, maybe you were fascinated by climbing the career ladder, impressing neighbors, or accumulating status symbols. Those things used to give you energy. They motivated you. They made you jump up every morning. But then you look through them. You understand that status is just an imaginary game, that the career ladder leads nowhere, that your neighbors actually do not care about you as much as you think, and suddenly those pursuits become hollow. They are like trying to polish plastic cups when you have found water flowing from a mountain spring. You might still go to work, you still pay bills, but the fire of old ambition has gone out. You no longer want to sell your soul in exchange for a paycheck. You no longer want to spend hours doing meaningless things just to accumulate a few more tokens. Naturally, this affects your pocket. And now to the third reason, much more subtle. When you awaken, you start seeing clearly how the monetary system operates. And this very understanding makes you hesitant to participate fully in it. You see that this whole economic game is based on fear, on scarcity, on the illusion that there is not enough to go around. You see it turns humans into opponents, into enemies. You see it makes them forget basic humanity. You understand that the person with the most money is not necessarily the most successful person. Actually, you start suspecting that the pursuit of wealth often creates poverty of spirit, narrowing of consciousness, and loss of the very things making life worth living. And so, you hesitate. You stop. You do not throw yourself into the game because you have seen the price of winning. This is not laziness. This is wisdom. But it means you will have a hard time getting rich, at least in the conventional sense. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a fisherman living by the sea. Every day he rowed his small boat out to sea, caught enough fish to feed his family and sell a little at the market. Then he went home, had lunch with his wife, took a nap in the afternoon, played with his children in the evening, and spent the night playing music and singing with friends. One day a wealthy businessman visited. Seeing the fisherman resting in the afternoon, he asked, "Why don't you go out to sea again? You could catch more fish." "What do I catch more for?" The fisherman replied, "If you catch more fish, you can sell them and make more money." "And what will I do with that money?" "You can buy a bigger boat," the businessman explained. "With a big boat, you will catch even more fish. Then you can buy a few more boats, hire others to fish for you, and become very rich." "Then what? After that?" the fisherman asked. "After that, you can retire, live leisurely days, take naps in the afternoon, play with children, play music, and sing with friends every night." The fisherman smiled. "But that is exactly what I'm doing now." Do you see? That fisherman did not misunderstand how to get rich. He just looked through the illusion that making money is the goal. He was living the life that the businessman would have to spend years of labor to earn enough money to get. He was rich in the only way that truly matters. When you awaken spiritually, you become like that fisherman. You realize that the goal everyone is pursuing is already available right in this moment. The peace they try to buy with retirement money is right in your breath. The sense of security they think money brings is available right in this very life. The freedom they think they must be rich to have is present when you are no longer a slave to the desire for more. But then the next thing happens. When you have seen that When you truly understand, you face a choice. Will you continue playing the money game with the awareness that it is just a game? Or do you abandon it completely? And this is where many awakened people get stuck. They think the answer is to abandon money, become a penniless wanderer, but that is another trap. That is the ego wearing spiritual clothes. True awakening is not denying money nor chasing it, but seeing money true to its nature. A useful tool, no more, no less. When you are truly awake, you can use money without being used by it. You can play the game without letting the game swallow you. The question is not should have money or not have money. The question is, does money possess you? Possess you? Can you hold it lightly? Can you use it when needed and let it go when not? Can you make money without losing your soul? Can you spend money without losing freedom? That is art. That is a dance. And it takes time to learn. This is why so many newly awakened people often go through a period of financial difficulty. They are learning a new dance. They are learning how to live in the world but not belong to the world. They are learning how to support themselves without selling themselves cheap. And during that transition time, there will be struggle. Old ways of making money are no longer effective because they require you to be asleep, to be controlled by fear, to be driven by greed. But the new way has not revealed itself yet. You are in the gap between the old life and the new life. And in that gap, usually there is very little money. But listen very carefully. This gap is sacred. This struggle is sacred. You are not being punished. You are being transformed. The universe is not stripping away your abundance. It is teaching you a new relationship with abundance. Think of it this way. The snake must shed its old skin to grow. During that process, it is weak. The old protective layer is peeling off and the new skin is still soft. But if the snake tries to keep the old skin out of fear, it will die. It is forced to go through that vulnerable stage to become a bigger version. That is exactly what is happening to you. Your old relationship with money is peeling off. The old way of survival is disappearing. And yes, that is uncomfortable. Yes, that is scary. But if you try to cling to the old, if you try to go back to sleep just to feel financially safe, you will suffocate. You cannot unknow what you have known. You cannot unsee what you have seen. The only way is forward. The only way out is through. And on the other side of this difficult period, there is a completely new way of living. A way of living both spiritually awake and financially stable. A way of living allowing you to have enough without needing to have it all. A way of living allowing you to work without turning work into identity. A way of living allowing you to use money without turning money into a purpose. But you must trust the process. You must believe that the universe will not let you starve. Birds have no bank accounts yet are still fed. Flowers do not worry about asset value, yet are still clothed in beauty. If nature takes care of every sparrow, every blade of grass, would it not take care of you? This does not mean you sit still doing nothing. It does not mean you are irresponsible. It means you act from love, not from fear. You work because the work needs to be done, not to prove your worth. You make money because money is useful, not because money is everything. And I have observed this. When people truly let go of fear and start living by trust, money often starts flowing in easier. Not always, not immediately, but eventually it comes. Because when you no longer cling to money, when you do not strangle every opportunity with desperation, you become more creative. You become more relaxed. You become nicer to cooperate with, more pleasant to work with, and more open to possibilities. Muddy water clears itself when we stop stirring. When you stop struggling to force financial success. When you stop panicking over every bill. When you simply are present with the now, something shifts. The water starts clearing gradually. Solutions appear. Opportunities pop up, not because you forced it to happen, but because you are no longer blocking its way. But let me be clear, this does not mean you will be rich in the conventional way. You might never have $1 million in the bank. You might never have a big house or luxury car, and that is completely okay, because you will have something much more valuable. You have your life back. You have time back. You have peace back. You have yourself back. The awakened person will realize there are two types of poverty. Poverty due to lack of money, temporary, and can be solved. Poverty due to selling the soul for money, permanent, and can destroy you. Better to be poor for a season than rich for a lifetime, but dying inside. So now you are awake but struggling financially. What must you do? First, stop resisting it. Do not see financial difficulty as proof that you are wrong, or you failed, or God abandoned you. See it true to its nature. A transition period, a learning time, a sacred journey from the old way of living to the new way of living. Second, do what you can. Find work that does not hurt your soul. Pay bills within capability. Live simply. Ask for help when needed. There is nothing shameful. The universe helps itself through people helping each other. Let yourself be helped. Third, trust. Trust that you are in the right place you need to be. Trust that this difficulty is teaching you something. Trust that the intelligence that created your body from a cell controls your heart beating, even though you do not try at all, helps you breathe while sleeping. That intelligence will not abandon you. You are now being supported, being protected, being loved, not by money, but by the source of everything. And finally, remember what you already know. The meaning of life does not lie in possession, achievement, or accumulation. The meaning of life lies in the very living, in the breath, in the gaze, in the taste, in the experience. You are already richer than every measure if you are willing to stop for a moment to realize. You have eyes seeing the sunset. You have ears hearing music. You have a body feeling the warmth of the sun. You have a mind knowing wonder. You have a heart knowing love. That is the real treasure. They cannot be bought or sold. So yes, you might be empty-pocketed, but you are awake. And that wakefulness is worth more than all the money of all banks in all worlds. Money can buy many things, but it cannot buy consciousness, cannot buy freedom, cannot buy the peace of knowing who you really are. You are not a person with money or without money. You are awareness, where having or not having only rises and dissolves like clouds in the sky. Clouds come and go. The sky remains. You are the sky, and the sky is never poor. This does not pay rent, I know. But it changes completely how you face rent. It allows you to encounter financial difficulty without losing yourself. It allows you to be poor without breaking. It allows you to struggle without despair because you know that your value does not lie in numbers. Awakened people often struggle financially, not because they are punished, but because they are learning what the sleeping world has forgotten. They learn that life is not about money. They learn that true wealth is consciousness. They learn that you can live richly with very little if you are awake enough to see the abundance present right here. This learning takes time. This learning has a price. Sometimes that price is money, but what you receive is priceless. You reclaim your soul. You reclaim freedom. You learn how to live in the world without being swallowed by the world. You learn the wisdom to use money without being used by money. And then in ways you cannot predict in timing, you cannot control, the financial situation often starts improving. Not because you went back to sleep and chased money, but because you have learned how to both be awake and operate. You learned how to meet practical needs while still not forgetting spiritual truth. But even if money never comes, even if you live a whole life with very little, you will still be richer than those having everything but knowing nothing. Because you know who you are. You know what is important. You know that you are the universe looking through these eyes, breathing through these lungs, experiencing through this life. And that, my friend, is real gold. Everything else is just paper. So if you are awake and struggling financially, stand firm. You are not doing wrong. You are going through what needs to be gone through. Trust the process. Do what you can. And always remember, the one struggling is not the real you. The real you, the awareness observing all, is never touched by poverty or wealth. It just is, and it is always sufficient. The meaning of life is just to be alive. Not rich, not successful, not proving, not accumulating. Just to be alive, to breathe, to see, to feel, to know. And that you have always been doing. You cannot fail in that. So play the money game if you need to. Pay bills, feed yourself, handle practical life. But do not mistake that those things are the purpose. The purpose is this living. The purpose is this breath. The purpose is this moment where you are living, are awake, are aware. And in that moment, you are the richest person ever lived.